Hey, it's your co-hosts Haley and Kaitlyn popping in with a little motivation to get your week started off right. Hello and welcome back to Thriving in Wellness on this happy Monday. Today we're talking about how your mental state around your diagnosis or maybe a significant symptom that you're experiencing, how that can really impact your healing journey.
Yes, your mental state, your dialogue, how you talk about it, all of that. Because we often hear and we find that our successful clients versus the clients that end up kind of feeling stuck talk about this and think about this very differently. So the people that we see that tend to either take longer to heal or feel like they're not making that progress is they will say something like, well, it's been like this forever, nothing will change, or they really doubt it, or they almost become their diagnosis, like they identify as it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it can for sure make you feel stuck and like there's no hope in things getting better. And I feel like people in this state, like their entire demeanor is just so defeated.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think that's what we do a lot of work with people in that, headspace of like, okay, we need to help you see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel here. And the tunnel may not end, like we may not be able to completely, cure everybody's problems. And people have, chronic illnesses that they are going to have forever. Um, but it doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do. There's still so much that's within your control.
Yeah, and I think what's helpful for a lot of the women, especially that I work with, who have this kind of mindset about it when we first start to work together, or it's kind of like this roller coaster. Like they're finally, and I see this with family members and friends who deal with chronic illnesses too. It's like you have these ups and downs. Like you're getting hopeful, like, oh, this is going to be my answer. I'm going to find all these answers, and then nothing changes. And then you're like, okay, maybe this next step will be the best thing, and then nothing changes. Like that can get you to a point where you feel very defeated. So I will say a lot of the people are coming to us who, especially with gut health, I think that happens with the most is they've gone through the ringer with like testing and feeling hopeful that, okay, this next thing is going to actually solve my issue. And that's something that impacts you so significantly on a daily basis. That can impact your relationships, your how you eat, how you can socialize, like how you're feeling in your body. So it's understandable that like your mindset can go into this negative spot.
For sure. Yeah, yes, people, they are often doing things for sometimes years and years, or maybe their entire lifetime before they come and work with us. And so, yeah, it's no surprise that you're feeling down, but we want to help you see that there are things that you can do, and that simply your mental state around your diagnosis can impact your healing progress. And so um, we want to help you kind of find the little glimmers of hope, so that you can start feeling better.
Yeah, we didn't plan to talk about this, but it just came to mind for me. I think it fits in well with this. We're not saying that we can fix everyone, that we have all the answers, that we are like the end provider that you'll work with and fix everything. And that's something that I used to struggle with and sometimes still do, like because I want to help people so much, I want you to feel better. But
Yeah.
I think this can be helpful as the patient working on your mindset too, is not going into it thinking like this is going to give me all the answers I need. This is going to be my everything. It's like, okay, this might give me everything that I'm looking for, but it could just be another piece of my puzzle that I'm gathering along this way and along the journey. And I think if you think about it that way, you're setting a different expectation. And so then that helps you think about it completely differently as well.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I always tell people when, maybe we try something and it doesn't work, or we do some testing and we kind of have some expectations, and then we get the results back and it's like, huh, that's not quite what we expected here. And sometimes people feel really defeated with that sort of thing of like, oh my gosh, like this wasn't the answer. And I always try to, again, flip their mindset a little bit. And it's like, hey, we found one more thing that it's not. And thinking about like gut things, if we're doing some sort of like elimination diet, it's like, hey, yeah, it's not a gluten sensitivity, but plus side, you get to keep eating gluten. And, you know, we discovered some things here. So I get that it can be disappointing and defeating that we're not finding the answers, but we're finding things that it's not.
Yes, exactly. And this whole episode is really meant to be about, again, the season, trusting your body, but recognizing like your body is capable of a lot and it's capable of healing. So continuing to put those puzzle pieces together and recognizing that a huge piece of that is going to be your mindset around it. And we're not saying like you got to be this happy-go-lucky, super positive person all the time. One, that's not realistic. Two, I don't think that's helpful. I think it's okay to, and I was just talking to a client about this the other day, like sit in that frustration a bit. That's okay to feel frustrated that you're not where you had hoped you would be, but make sure you're also recognizing how far you actually have come and that you do have more pieces, you do have more answers, and you are headed in the right direction.
Yeah, that is beautifully put.
Maybe that's a perfect place to end. So the question we will leave you with today is, what is that next step for you in beginning to trust your body so that it can heal? Is it kind of evaluating your mindset and working on rewiring some of those thought patterns? We didn't talk about this today because that's going to be a whole nother episode potentially, but like nervous system and how that supports it. And that all starts with their dialogue, whether it be actually the way you talk about your diagnosis and symptoms or how you're thinking about it, your internal dialogue. So take that into consideration this week and maybe just start to catch yourself in how you're thinking and talking about your body and your symptoms and everything. We will see you on Thursday.